In this video, I will be sharing with you some of the results that have come through the Sleep Deep Method Sleep Questionnaire that I've put out earlier this year. As a delegate of the World Sleep Day, back in March, I've actually compiled a number of different questions that I thought was a better way for us to help professionals just like you who have had longer term sleep problems or even insomnia to start breaking down this really huge picture of sleep into questions that can help us have a different type of conversation. And all these different questions actually lead into helping you to figure out which part of your sleep you need to work on, or at what point you might actually need to seek professional help with your sleep problems. So for me, it was really a way to, rather than just talk about how many hours of sleep you might need, which is very well talked about in this field of sort of sleep problems and the entire sleep industry, I think it's really important for us to break it down into different sub-questions so we can help and support you to really reassess where you are at with your sleep problems. Because most of the time when people come to me, they just tell me that they have a sleep problem and they can't sleep well. But how do we then begin to understand where to even improve things? So let's really look at breaking it down into different questions so that we can help you to figure out what might not be working well for you. Now, before we go into the actual information and the data that I'm going to talk to you about, I thought I'd just sort out the introduction. So if you are returning to my channel or you are returning and this is not the first video you have watched, then thank you so much for continuing to support me, continuing to learning from me. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and come and introduce yourself in the comments. If you haven't come across any of my videos before and this is the first one you're watching, then let me introduce myself. So my name is Beatrix Schmidt. I'm a sleep coach, a professional speaker, and I'm the creator of the Sleep Skills for Life program, which is basically my way of helping you overcome longer term insomnia and sleep problems. I struggled with insomnia as well, so I know how it feels. I don't just come from the practitioner's perspective. The entire program is designed around taking you through a structured, practical plan to take you from where you are to actually developing good quality sleep for many years to come consistently. So if you're interested in that, you can find the link below. So let's come back to the sleep questionnaire. If you want to take part in the questionnaire, you can still do so. I'm keeping it open. I'm collecting further answers and responses from people like you. And I'm really looking forward to sort of publishing more and more updates about what those results are as we're getting more responses. So let's start with a couple of these data points that I wanted to share with you so that we can really talk about why they're relevant and how they can help you figure out what to do next. The first part of the results that I wanted to share with you is when we asked professionals how long does it take for them to fall asleep, and 29% of professionals that we've asked have said that it actually takes them more than half an hour to fall asleep initially in the first part of their evening. And this happens 3 or more times a week. So again, the reason we have asked the scale, whether or not this is a couple of nights or 3 or more times per week, is we need to understand the scale of that problem, right? If you are struggling with long-term sleep problems or even insomnia, you know that maybe for you actually you have 3 or 4 nights that are not really great, but perhaps you have 1 or 2 that's actually a slightly better quality. Again, everybody is different, but this is sometimes what I see with clients who have long-term sleep problems, is once you get really exhausted, perhaps the 3rd, 4th, or maybe the 5th night, you might have a slightly better one. And that's why we need to look at that scale. How many times out of 7 does it take you longer than 30 minutes to fall asleep? That's where we can start to understand how easily you actually fall asleep in the evening and how consistently you can make that happen. The second part of the results that I wanted to share with you is all about your ability to be able to sleep through the night. So in this example, 28% of the people that we have asked and obviously submitted their response said that they actually stay awake for longer than half an hour in the middle of the night, 3 or more times a week. And again, this is where if you just wake up maybe once, pop to the toilet, come back to bed and you fall asleep again really easily, then that's not really something that I get concerned about. But a lot of the clients that I worked over the years with longer term sleep problems, they're not able to actually fall back into sleep again if they wake up in the middle of the night, and often they end up tossing and turning for hours. So again, here we looked at the scale of that nighttime problem and how many nights out of 7 does that happen. The next part is about the waking up part. So how long can you extend your sleep, meaning you might just wake up to your alarm. Or in this case, the results from one of the questions was that 33% of the people said that they actually wake up half an hour or more before their alarm. And again, this is 3 or more times per week. And the relevance here, and this is always quite interesting for me to see within my client work, is when somebody wakes up earlier than they need to and they're not able to extend their sleep within their night, that tends to suggest that they're not really able to understand how their sleep is optimized. Either they may be going to bed way too early, or they're not able to actually rest really well throughout the entire night and extend their sleep till the alarm goes off. So again here, that's one part, one dynamic of the long-term sleep problems that I see. The next part of the results that I wanted to share with you is all about hours of sleep that professionals has had overnight. So out of the professionals that we have asked, 15% of them has said that they sleep less than 6 hours, 3 or more times a week. Now, if you look at the indication for a healthy adult, you need between 7 and 9 hours of good quality sleep to be able to really function at your optimum. So sleeping less than 6 hours a night, more than 3 out of 7 nights, is going to impact your ability to be able to function really well during the day. So again, when we look at the extent of sleep problems, there's many different variations that I've seen over the years. So I do look at what is the overall amount of sleep that the person gets per night. This will differ, so every person will have a different need, but if you've got different problems, different dynamics within your sleep problems and longer term insomnia, then we need to look at some of these other data points as well. The next thing, which links into this part, was 50% of the people that we have asked has also said that they sleep between 6 and 7 hours, 3 or more times a week. So again, this is now a combination. Some might have slept 6 hours for a certain number of days. Some would have slept under 7 for a certain amount of days. But again, this is still under the recommended 7 hours per night consistently. And 50% is quite a large number. And this is again nicely leading into some of the other data points that I will be sharing in a minute. When we're not getting quality sleep in the middle of the night and throughout our entire nights, we're not going to be able to function at our optimum during the day. So the next piece of data is about tiredness. So when I look at long-term insomnia, long-term sleep problems, a lot of the times people come to me and say, I feel tired every morning. But we need to understand how tired. So again, the level of tiredness there is important. You might feel a little bit tired and we might compare ourselves to other people, but we really got to acknowledge what level of tiredness do we experience. So 54% of people that we have asked have said that they wake up tired 3 or more times a week. That means the quality of their sleep isn't really consistent enough to wake up refreshed, recharged in the morning. And then the next piece, which again links into this, is 18% of the people have said that actually they wake up exhausted 3 or more times out of the week. So when we look at that scale of the tiredness, If it's exhaustion, then what I would suggest, and if that's something that you experience as well consistently, is you got to go and seek help with it, because exhaustion is very different than being a little bit tired. And again, this is where that scale of sleep problems will come into that picture. So please don't just discard it, but go seek help, assessment, or you can come and talk to me as well. I do offer a complimentary session within my business, obviously limited spaces, but we can have a look at that scale of the sleep problem that you might have. And then we have also asked about whether or not the people that actually answered the questions fall asleep in inappropriate places. Now, if you do fall asleep in inappropriate places, let's say maybe in the middle of the meeting, or maybe when you're perhaps even behind the wheel, it's really, really, really important for you to go and seek assessments, because if you fall asleep uncontrollably, that can be a sign of sleep disorder. And 4% of the people that we have asked have said that they do fall asleep in inappropriate places. So it's very important not to just think you're tired, but actually really make sure that you seek that assessment that you might need. Then we've looked at how long people have struggled with their sleep problem, or how long have they had this kind of dynamics. And again, like I mentioned before, those 28 different questions, this is just some part of the sleep questionnaire that I'm sharing in this video. 51% of the people that we have asked have said that they have had sleep challenges, or their sleep has been like this for longer than 3 years. That means it's not a current problem. It often means that people haven't really been able to seek the advice and receive the support that they need to overcome their sleep problems. And again, most sleep problems, even sleep disorders, are treatable, preventable. So you don't have to suffer with them. You can just make sure that you seek the appropriate help, have an assessment, and then you'll be able to overcome your sleep problems and really enjoy that really good quality sleep for many, many years to come. And then linking to the same data, 26% of the people that we have asked have said that they have had sleep challenges for longer than a year. And again, the questions we have asked was how many years, and therefore we've broken down this bigger picture into the appropriate groups. But that's still, 26% is still quite a large number within that 100% that we've looked at. You know, if you've been struggling for even 6 months plus, you don't have to struggle. You can actually overcome your sleep problems if you, again, seek assessment and help with it. So these are some of the data points that I wanted to share with you. If you want to take part in the sleep questionnaire, you can. I'll include the link below, and I'll be posting updates about the sleep questionnaire and the results every couple of months, so we can really continue having this conversation about how to even assess your sleep. So thank you so much for watching. I know this wasn't a how-to video, but hit the like button below if you have liked this. I find sort of data quite interesting because it can help us to have a different conversation when it comes to sleep and sleep problems. And of course, if you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button and come back each week when I post new videos on this big picture of sleep and how to overcome long-term sleep problems. So thank you again for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video.